The Kehoe demonstration garden, and we have John, one of the owners, who's going to explain to us about this absolutely stunning manzanita that they have here in their garden.
Hello. This manzanita is called Sentinel manzanita. The species is Arctostaphylos densiflora, and then in single quotes, Sentinel manzanita. The single quotes determine that it is a cultivar, or a cultivated variety. I don't remember how many years ago this was planted. It's been many, several years, 10 years perhaps, I don't recall. An interesting thing, a couple of interesting things about especially this very manzanita. The striking dark chocolate bark is quite dramatic looking. You can also notice that some of the branches had to be cut off. It's just what we learned. This is just the natural progression of a lot of manzanitas. A whole branch section grows, and then for unknown reasons it just dies. The most fascinating thing about this manzanita to me is it's in peak bloom in winter. This manzanita blooms before the Lewis Edmonds manzanitas that we have out front. It's ahead of it by only maybe a week or two, depending on the year. Right after it blooms, this very manzanita is a magnet to the black-tailed bumblebee. What's magic about that is the bumblebee founding queens are the only bumblebees to overwinter. They hibernate, they emerge in the winter, and the first thing that they need to do is to find food and pollen and create their brood for the current year. This manzanita feeds and nurtures, I don't know, dozens of black-tailed bumblebee founding queens. Without this manzanita, I have no idea what the bumblebees would feed on and how the durability of that species continues. Notice also the...
John, I want to get back to your point. So my garden is called Greer Ducky, and it's also on the tour, and I have a Sentinel manzanita. That's what this is, right?
That's what this is.
I
yes.
didn't know what you just told me about the bumblebees, but I have a lot of bumblebees in my garden.
Okay.
And of course mine is very small, but that's really fascinating, and it seems like something that many gardeners would want to have just for that reason, if not the beauty of it.
Yes, I mean, how many gardens do we see with something in peak bloom in January, for example, yet in addition have bumblebees browsing around it? It's quite a delight. We also enjoy numerous small birds, many different species of small birds that like to flit through here, perch for a little while, assess the garden, and then move on. We've read where the small birds especially love these small twiggy jumbles, which provides safety to them from predatory birds such as, I know the sharp-shinned hawks, which are around here, do feed on small birds. The small birds learn, they know, by seeking shelter among these gnarly, twisty, sharp branches that the sharp-shinned hawk is not likely to make it into there.
I want to ask you one other thing about the Sentinel manzanita, which is, so I have one, and of course Aggie Kehoe, your wife,
yes,
is my mentor and comes regularly to help me with my garden, and she cut it way back from the bottom. It had a lot of branches coming out from the bottom. Can you talk about that, because clearly you've done that here too, right?
Actually, I myself don't prune this one unless Aggie gives me very specific instructions.
Well, in mine,
words,
there was a lot of branches coming out the bottom, and she said you got to lift them up so you can have other plants around it and also expose the beautiful bark structure, tree structure, trunk structure.
Right. Some of that is for aesthetics, and some of that is to encourage the canopy, if you will, to flourish at the top rather than at the ground. And you can see below this manzanita there's a nice bed of what's called Point St. George aster. A lot of these are already approaching their end of bloom season. You can see a lot of dried flowers on the tips of a lot of them. These provide food for bumblebees, especially the yellow-faced bumblebee, which are the most common ones around here. I'm not sure what other bees. I only see the yellow-faced bumblebee and some honeybees feed on these.
Well, I think we should wrap it up. Is there any last thing you want to say about your manzanita? Like, does it have a personal name?
I've not given it a personal name, and I don't think Aggie has either. But it's a delight to just sit, especially on the patio there, and watch how the birds and bees flit among it, through it, on it.
And could you, this is Sentinel manzanita, could you again say the scientific name?
It's the manzanitas, proper manzanitas are all in the genus Arctostaphylos. The species is densiflora because it's a cultivar. The way it would be written out with the name Sentinel manzanita at the end of that in single quotes. If you search on CalFlora website, you won't get a hit because CalFlora, to date anyway, doesn't list cultivars. But Sentinel manzanita, if you search with your favorite web search tool, you will find a number of hits. Las Politas Nurseries website and San Marcos Growers website are fantastic resources for that, for cultivars.
Oh, thank you so much. Again, we're at the Kehoe Demonstration Garden in Sunnyvale, and thank you, John, for explaining about this beautiful Sentinel manzanita.
Thank you.